technology, the Samsung begins closing gap in making AI memory chips for Nvidia. That's July 29th, 2024. The Bloomberg. Samsung Electronics Company is after a series of setbacks in developing the type of the memory chips crucial for the artificial intelligence market is beginning to make progress in narrowing the gap with the rival SK Hynix Incorporation. The Samsung has made important headway its comeback, including winning the long-awaited approval from the AI giant Nvidia Corp for a version of high-bandwidth memory chips called HBM3, according to the people familiar with the matter. It also anticipates approval for the next generation, HBM3E, in 2 to 4 months, said the people, who asked not to be identified discussing internal development. The advances come after months of stumbles, including development missteps that allowed the small SK Hynix to jump out to the huge lead in the fast-growing sector. It's unusual and humbling for South Korea's largest company to be playing this kind of catch-up. Historically, Samsung has led the way in the memory chip market, capitalizing on its scale and engineering expert. As the company struggled in the HBM field, it took the highly usual steps of replacing the head of its semiconductor division in May. We've never seen Samsung in this position, said Jim McGregor, an analyst of Curious Research. The industry and Nvidia more than anyone needs a Samsung, but they need a Samsung to be firing on a cylinders. And the company declined to comment on any specific partners, but said, in general, it's collaborating closely with the customers and testing is proceeding smoothly. The latest accomplishments are likely to position the company to capitalize on a booming demand for AI products. The HBM market is projected to rise from the $4 billion last year to the $71 billion in 2027, according to the Morgan Stanley. The faster Samsung gets the blessing of the Nvidia, the leader in making the AI accelerators, the more the revenue it can reap from that increase. The investors' perception on Samsung could change soon. Morgan Stanley analyst Shou Kim and Duan Liu is right in a research report this month. As things are improving quickly. The pair anointed Samsung their top stock pick in the report because they figured the company could grab incremental HBM market share of at least 10% in 2025, adding about $4 billion in revenue. While it would still trail SK Hynix in the field, the progress could shift investor perceptions and lift shares. Samsung is likely to face questions about the HBM strategy when it reports final second quarter earnings on Wednesday. It's not clear how much detail the company will provide. While Samsung appears on track to secure Nvidia's seal of approval by November, the company is still struggling to resolve certain issues with unpredictable outcomes given the complexity of AI chips. There's a chance its timeline will slip into 2025, the people said. The Samsung's missteps came during an unusual period for the company. Executive Chairman J.Y. Lee spent years battling prosecutors over the bribery and corruption allegation, and in the meantime, the senior leaders didn't see the HBM as a priority. Indeed, the market was rounding error until OpenAI unveiled ChatGPT in late 2022 and set off a frenzy of demand for the Nvidia chips used to train AI models. While SK Hynix was ready for the surge, the Samsung struggled with the complex engineering problems of the new chips. The HBM is made up of a collection of DRAM chips stacked on the top of each other, eight high in the most recent generation. Each layer generates substantial heat, and they are packed with Nvidia's graphics processing unit or GPUs, which can reach to 100 degrees Celsius on their own. The entire stack risks melting down without the proper dispatching and cooling materials. As you increase those layers, the challenging of developing a reasonable yield becomes more difficult, said Jake Silverman, an analyst of the Bloomberg Intelligence. The issue is thermal. It runs hot because it's stacked DRAM. It's clearly close to the GPU, which runs even hotter. The Samsung had trouble solving this so-called thermal coupling, according to one of the people who asked not be named discussing confidential work. In May, the company took dramatic action. It announced Kyung Hyun, the head of the semiconductor division, would step aside, and John Young-hyun would take his place. John who joined Samsung in 2000 and helped develop its DRAM and flash memory chips, quickly stepped up the pressure to find solutions. The 63-year-old convened a series of meetings to prove technical details and find the root cause of the problem. In one meeting, the latest hours without break, he lamented the HBM could be a part of the broader problems, according to a person familiar with the matter. The Samsung risked falling behind not just on memory chip technicalities, but also in terms of urgency in innovation. To boost collaboration, he recognized the team dedicated to HBM and appointed a new head. The Samsung uses a heat management strategy called thermal compression non-conductive film, or TCNCF, to insulate each layer of the DRAM. SK Hynix, on the other hand, pioneered an alternative to improve the heat dissipation and product yields. Yet, Samsung opted to stick with the TCNCF and improve it rather than considering other approaches. A company whose spokesperson said TCNCP is well-proven technology that it will use in future products. Ultimately, the company modified the HBM design to address heating and power consumption issues, the people said, and led to approval of HBM3 for Nvidia. The Samsung said that John, since taking over, has prioritized the company's culture of collective discussion and persistence in solving problems, and added there has been no issues related to heat or power consumption in our HBM product, and it has made no design changes for specific customers. The Samsung saving grace may be that much of the AI growth lies ahead. Tech firms like Microsoft Corporation and Google, parent Alphabet Incorporation, Amazon.com Incorporation, Apple Incorporation, and Meta Platforms Incorporation are all investing huge sums to develop their capabilities. The Samsung has been producing the HBM3 chips since the second half of the last year, according to details from each quality report. Companies like Google, which design their own chip capabilities, are expected to continue using HBM3 for much of this year. Samsung has started supplying the HBM3 to Nvidia for its H2 chip, a product customized for China to meet U.S. export controls. As for the HBM3E, the technology hit the market for the first time this year as Nvidia paired with SK Hynix chips with its own H200. The Nvidia will keep using the HBM3E with virtually all of its products through the 2025, and chip rivals will stick with it even in 2026. Sanford C. Bernstein analyst said in July report. Samsung is right, but the window of HBM3E will remain open for Samsung to catch up, the analyst led by the Mark Lee wrote. In a sign of its tardiness, Micron Technology Incorporation announced earlier this year that Nvidia had approved its HBM3E chips for use with the company's AI gear. Micron, which has historically traded its Korean rivals in scale, is now claiming leadership in some areas of memory manufacturing and product introduction, a further sign of the erosion of Samsung's dominance. One significant advantage Samsung holds, however, is its financial resources and production capacity. Once it meets Nvidia criteria for approval, it can ramp up output rapidly, addressing the shortages that have held back Nvidia and other AI advocates. The Micron and Hynix don't have the capacity yet to support the entire market, said Bloomberg Intelligence Silverman. The Nvidia chief executive officer Jen Huang wants to encourage him because he needs more supply, he added. SK Hynix is rating up. It's in the rare position of stealing the spotlight from its higher level profile rival. Its shares have surged more than 150% since the start of 2023, more than triple Samsung's performance. The SK Hynix said last week it's accelerating production of the HBM3 product to grab growth of more than 300%. The company also said it plans to mass produce next generation 12-layer HBM3E chips this quarter and start supplying a customer in fourth quarter, a likely indication that a certification from Nvidia is imminent. Under John's leadership, Samsung is making progress. It developed its own 12-layer HBM3E technology and is working to get Nvidia's approval for that generation of chips, as well as 8-layer HBM3E. The is an indication of the market promise. This is a $71 billion revenue opportunity by 2027 on our estimation, and growing that did not exist 2 years ago. The Morgan Stanley analyst wrote, the key debate for Samsung is whether it can execute as long as a strong second source to Nvidia. Okay, thank you. I read this article. Samsung's chip unit turns profitable after a year-long slump. Okay, this article, the Samsung begins closing gap in making AI memory chips for Nvidia. Thank you for your time and see you next time.